Well, it's another dark, cold evening here, and tonight we've ventured out of Hertfordshire into Bedfordshire to the village of Clifton. This building behind us is over 300 years old. All sorts of things have been going on here. The current owners have said to us they hear creaky floorboards on floors above when there's no one in the building, shadows passing windows. What is actually going on here? Well, we're here to investigate, and we're going inside and find out what is going on. I'm Ray Cordell, this is Bev Kinsey. This is Haunted Hitchin.
What sort of experiences have you had here?
All the dogs we've had go into the fireplace and sort of sniff around, and they definitely think there's something there. And also outside the house, two doors, separate doors, one at the back and one at the front, I've seen caught glimpses of somebody sort of walking past on various occasions. There was one today out the back in the garden.
Was it a male? Is it a man?
Don't know, never really actually been able to see. It's just a figure of sorts, it's fleeting, so can't really make out.
So we're here in a beautiful old house near the centre of the village of Clifton in Bedfordshire this evening. It's a wonderful 17th century house, but the village itself has a much, much older history than that. The first reference is in the year 944, so it's at least a 10th century settlement, and in fact dates back probably well before that. The name Clifton comes from a settlement by a cliff or by the slope or bank of a river. And whilst it's not a particularly big river, that was obviously an important part in its settlement with fresh water and transport links. Certainly mentioned in the Domesday Book and noted to have 2 mills, which would have made it quite a successful and prosperous settlement. So nowadays Clifton is a beautiful, peaceful village, I'm sure a very pleasant place to live. It hasn't always been the case, however, and we have uncovered some very violent and brutal crimes, in fact some murders that happened in the village, but this is way, way back. We're talking about the late 13th century now, and in the medieval coroner's records of the time it reads that about bedtime on the 15th of November 1269, felons and thieves came to the house of Edmund le Mastref of Clifton. They broke in and tied up Edmund, his wife Maud and their housemaid Sarah, and stole and carried away all the goods of the house. From there they went on to the house of Agnes Colburn, again of Clifton. Breaking in, entering, and they struck her servant John on the crown of his head with an axe, giving him a wound 5 inches long to the brain, of which he died immediately. They then struck Beatrice Le Saraman of Clifton in the mouth with a knife, and again in the head to the brain, apparently with a Danish axe. She died immediately, and then they took Agnes by force to the house of Godfrey of Who and asked her to ask for entry. She would not do so, and the felons struck her again on the right arm with their axe, breaking her arm, and gave her a wound to the head about 5 inches long by the ear. Godfrey saw that they were thieves and that they intended to burn and burgle his house, and immediately raised the hue and cry. The neighbours came and the felons immediately fled. At the following hearing it was stated that the houses were burgled in the village that night and that 3 persons had been murdered. It was also recorded that no Englishery had been proven. And this is an interesting legal concept. It really says that the village was unable to prove that the people who were murdered were English and not Normans, and it relates back to the social divisions between Normans and Saxons, with the native Saxons being seen as an inferior race to the Norman elite. And if they couldn't prove that the people murdered were English rather than Norman, then a murdrum, which was a fine for murder, had to be paid by the Clifton Hundred, by the village. And again, in 1273, a few years later, an argument broke out between residents of Clifton and nearby Chicksands, which resulted in one William de Pitcher striking Richard, son of Peter of Campton, another village just down the road, under the right ear with a maple staff, of which wound he died immediately. At the inquest, William le Pitcher was arrested and put in the Bedford jail. but he died before he was able to come to trial. And again, Englishery was not proved. They could not prove that the person who was murdered was not English, so the whole 100 was fined. During the Victorian period, like any town and village in the country, sanitation was a serious problem for the authorities and the residents. And there was a rather serious outbreak of scarlet fever in Clifton in the 1870s. Several children were killed, and also typhoid fever was found. And the public health records at the time described some pretty unsanitary conditions, including filthy pigsties, foul drains stopped up and close to back windows, shallow wells, and one of the school inspector found in the local platting school 30 or 40 children in one classroom, and in the corner lay a poor child dying of scarlet fever, which was contracted by several others, and 2 more children sadly died. The sanitation gradually improved, of course, over the following years, and I'm delighted to say that nowadays Clifton has won several awards of Best Village in Bedfordshire, including 2003, 2005 and 2009, so things are much happier now, I'm glad to say.
Well, we're now inside, and there's several doorways actually that come in off the street. I've got a feeling this is obviously once one of 3 houses.
I think it was 3 cottages, wasn't it?
But let's go this way and see what happens.
It's a bit of a maze, I think, this place.
It's
isn't it?
incredible. Everywhere you look, there's just... I mean, dining room of some sort? Huge fireplace. Yeah, just something about it.
It has
It's got a real atmosphere
it
about
has
this
an
room.
atmosphere.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of what we
I mean,
say.
the whole house straight away, even from outside.
Got a staircase
It's
up
obviously
there.
was a main staircase of this property.
Yeah.
The front door here is obviously behind us, so straight in.
Oh, of course.
Straight in.
Straight into the
upstairs.
downstairs.
Yeah, I mean that's quite wide really for an old house, isn't it?
It is if it's a small cottage.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
rather grand.
Oh wow, look at this.
Well, this is obviously some sort of reception room, drawing room. And crikey, look at these dolls in here. I mean,
Do you know-
there's a real feel about
There's
this room
definitely
as
a feel
well.
about it. Do you know what, Ray? I think we need to do some tapping in here.
Yeah.
Do you? Do you think
Well,
you...
it's as good a place as any.
Yeah, let me put the K2 meter on.
Okay.
Would you tap something for us so that we know you're in here? Or even touch one of us? If you could make a noise of anything, some tapping would be good.
Some noises.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Oh, the light's gone on actually outside as well, so that's where Linda says she's actually been seeing.
Let's go.
Yeah. Is there any spirit people here who'd like to communicate with us? There you go.
Yeah.
Is there any spirit people here who'd like to communicate with us? Could you do some tapping? Could you make a sound for us, please? We don't wish you any harm.
That's mad. Have a look. That's mad. That's going off the scale, Tony.
Could you make a sound for us, please? So we don't wish you any harm. We'd love you to communicate with us. Could you do some tapping? Could you make something move?
Some subtle noises, but nothing definite.
Is there any spirit people in here who'd like to communicate with us? Please make a sound. Or if you'd like to move something or touch one of us. We know you're in here, because we do know that with the K2 meter it's going on, the lights are coming on.
Like you said, we don't mean you any harm. Just give us a sign of some sort. A tap would be good.
We have a table. You try and tap the table, make a sound or move something, then we would know that you're in here. I know it's hard using it, but use all our energies. Doing it now.
No, there was definitely something there, wasn't there?
Yeah. So is these doors, do you think would lead on to the other cottage? Is that what we're thinking?
Quite possibly. I mean, let's have a look. It's pretty full up in this one, but there is a door the other side. But I don't think we'll be able to get through there somehow. But there is a door through there. So this is some sort of link between the upstairs rooms.
Oh right, yes. Oh, it's very narrow actually, isn't it? I thought it was bigger than that.
See, it's not uncommon for these houses to have several staircases. But this would be obviously a way of linking the rooms together. And you've got obviously in the middle there'd be the fireplace from downstairs. Is there anyone here who'd like to speak to us? Yeah. Okay.
Hello.
What's your name? Can you tell us your name?
Yep.
Yeah, you're still there. So, this is the dining room.
Yeah.
Definitely get the feel of being somewhere old sitting here.
You do.
Looks like an England fireplace there.
It goes, yeah, and it goes back a long way, doesn't
Oh,
it?
you've got some old muskets and everything on the wall. Fantastic. So, is anyone here? Is anyone here who'd like to say hello?
Are you the spirit that comes in the garden?
You were here today, I think. Yeah. Let's go through the hallway and we'll go upstairs.
Yes.
In the other staircase, the other
Into-
side.
it's-
So that should come out the other side of that little doorway we saw up there.
And that's an old part of the building,
That's
isn't
an
it?
older part of the building,
Yeah.
so let's go.
Okay, let's try there.
Right, so we've moved now into the other side of the hallway, and this is obviously another property that was now been joined into one property. We've got another fireplace and another staircase. So
This is where we're going to go.
we'll just go up here. Yeah.
Let's pull up here. Okay.
So this is another bedroom we've got here.
The floor is very uneven.
It is, yeah. It sort of
This-
slopes away down there, but fantastic feeling about this room.
This doesn't, yeah, I'm finding this quite warming.
A bit more warming than the
Yeah.
other rooms, definitely.
Yeah.
Totally different atmosphere to it.
Yeah. Okay, is there any spirit people in here who'd like to communicate with us? If there is, would you do some tapping for us? Or make a sound? We feel that it's a very nice spirit in here. Could you make a sound for us? Do some tapping.
Some fascinating old portraits on the wall here.
Lovely, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh, we'll try the box again, shall we? Is there anyone here in this room who'd like to speak to us?
That's loud. Could you make a sound for us? Tapping on the table? Or could... There you go.
The window just went then.
What was that?
Could you do that again? Could you make the sound again?
Definitely something behind me.
Behind you.
There was one definite one.
I heard the window, but I don't know if that's just a window. But did you hear it behind you on the doll's house?
Yeah, there was like a
Okay.
conk, and then the window went.
I'm going to move it nearer up then here.
Okay.
Okay. Is there anybody around the doll's house at the moment? Could you make the sound that you made before with the doll's house? We'll try and move the rocking horses. Maybe use its mane. Can you move that? What's that?
Didn't hear anything.
There's an orb just then as well.
I thought that was you moving.
No. I moved then just to look at you when I said, what's that? Try and move the glass for us. We wish you no harm whatsoever. Get used to the feel of the glass for us. Lovely, thank you very much. We'll let you use the glass before we ask you any questions. That's it. Thank you very much for coming through. Give you the chance to move the glass round. I think there's quite a few spirit people in here today. Okay, thank you. This is probably the first time you've done this, so we'll let you use the glass and use our energies to move the glass around. Thank you so much.
Right, let's have a recap of where we are at the moment. We've actually ascertained there's someone called Fred possibly here with Alice, and the year was 16 something, which ties in with this part of the building, which is dated at 1645. We then asked the question, is there anyone else here? And it said Frida. Did you live here? Yes. When? During the war. Now you've just gone off to see
Get the numbers.
the numbers, and you spoke to the people who own the property, and what have they said?
They said that there was a lady here who lived here. Her name was Frida, and it was during the war. So now we're going to ask Frida some more questions about what actual year she was here.
I mean, that's quite incredible, isn't it?
It's amazing. Thank you, Frida. Thank you very much for coming through. I've got the numbers that you asked for. Finger. Could you now please tell us the year that you were here, Frida? Could you look at the numbers for us? Thank you. Thank you, Frida. So it's 1. Look at all the numbers for us and see. You can tell us what year it was that you lived here. You said it was during the war, but we're not really quite sure what war.
Did they know what war it was?
No. Well, I didn't go into it too deep, to be honest. So could you just tell us what year it is? Thank you, Frida. So it's 19. And what was the year that you lived here?
I'm thinking about it.
Have a look at the numbers, Frida. Thank you. I think it's got a bit. Okay. So it's 19-1. Could be the First World War then.
But it's got to be, isn't it?
Yeah. And what's the other number, Frida, please? We're doing so well. Thank you so much. 1914. So this is the Great War. It is the Great War. And Frida, how many years did you live in this house? As we've got the numbers, could you just tell us how many years you lived in this house? You've got the numbers here. Do you know how many years you lived in this house, Frida? Do you know how many years? Was that 9 years? Was it 9 years that you lived in this house, Frida? 9 years. Nine years. 9 years you lived in this house, is that right? 9 years? Yes. Thank you. So you lived in here 9 years.
Okay, if there's any spirit people here, can you make the table move? See that?
Yeah, I can. I really can.
Crikey.
Thank you so much for moving the table. It's starting with your side there. Can you try and lift it a bit higher for us? You alright, Ray?
Yeah. It's bizarre.
Okay. Can you try and move it a bit more for us so that we can, or move the lights as well so we know that you really are here. We can feel you. We can feel you here.
No, it's going again. I don't know whether that's because you moved.
I'm feeling
You can see it glistening down here, where it's actually moving.
I'm just tensing up a bit, so I need to relax.
Okay.
I feel like I'm not. I think you're more relaxed than me. Holding it a bit. It's oh.
Something's happening.
Yeah. Thank you so much for moving the table.
Look at the glass. That's weird.
It is going. Thank you so much for moving the table.
Look at the meter thing.
It's moving.
Why is that?
Still, it seems to be. Oh my word. Thank you, spirits, for moving the table. You're really moving in. Don't know if you could tip it a little bit more. Can you tip it a bit? Actually, tip it a bit, so that we can actually see. Maybe move the glass on it so that it tips it. We now can see that the meter's moving.
You can see that meter moving.
Yeah, I can.
Well, that's really weird.
It seems to be more that on that side than seems to be more you than me, actually. So it seems to be.
I'm quite. If I take my hand off, it's quite.
Well,
There's nothing. So when you put it on, it's just sort of.
I can feel it under
You can
my
almost
finger.
feel it straight away.
Under my fingertips, it's vibrating. Really, actually, it's going more.
Look at the thing.
Thank you so much. It's really vibrating now.
So again.
Yeah. It's under my fingertips now. They're tingling. My fingertips are tingling.
Well, we haven't said it for a while, but I can't explain that. That is really bizarre.
Strange.
Yeah. Something is moving there.
The table's moving. It doesn't look probably very much on the film, but the K2 meter has been moving. We can see that the glass is very slowly moving about. But there's definitely something.
Yeah, you can hear it vibrating.
Yeah.
Well, what a fantastic evening we've had in
Amazing.
Clifton. I mean, this building is incredible, isn't it?
Yes.
There's
it
just
is.
history eking out everywhere. And this part of the building here, 1645. I mean, this must be one of the oldest buildings, if not the oldest we've been in.
It's the oldest building I'm sure we've investigated.
So we started one end of the building, right down in the dining area. and
Which
we've
was
come-
Victorian, was more. Some of it was
Victorian.
Victorian, yes.
And we've come all the way down here through the house, through the kitchen, and we're here. And if anything, this room has been the most amazing room.
Exciting room.
Exciting, yeah.
Yes.
Because we did say when we had a little recce round before we started. As soon as we walked in here, we felt something. Both of us sort of
There's a
straight
presence
away.
here.
Definitely
Yes.
a presence in this room, and we've done a couple of firsts tonight. Which don't know if you want to tell us about that.
We decided to have a go, didn't we, at a glass moving seance,
Yeah.
which we as the Haunted Hitchin team have never done.
No.
So we thought we'd have a go. We have been, to be fair, we've been practicing, and we
Yeah,
do know
yeah.
what we're doing, and we've got guidance from people as well. But the information we've got,
I mean, we've got a name of Alice.
yes,
We've got a name of Fred.
yes,
And we've got a name of Frida. And the name Frida was particularly brilliant because she said that she lived here during the war, and it was confirmed by the owners, the current owners of the house.
I popped out to get the numbers so we
Yeah.
could carry on asking Frida dates. And as I bumped into the owner, I sort of quickly said, we have a Frida who was here during the war, and she
Yeah.
went, yes, that's right, there is. So we came back and we put the numbers down,
Yeah.
which was, she said,
She'd been here for 9 years,
9 years.
between the years of 1914
Yes,
to 1923.
Yeah.
Which it's spelt out, which it doesn't get much better than that, really,
No.
does it?
and she also had 3 sisters. Unfortunately, it got a bit weaker after that. We felt that
Yeah.
she did get tired.
Possibly the first time for her
Yes,
doing this.
yes,
So then we tried something totally new again,
yes.
which was table moving? Or
Table tipping.
Table tipping, okay.
We thought we'd have a go at that, which is again a first
And-
for us.
Didn't really expect much out of it, but in some respects it was the most amazing bit of the evening, because just resting your hands on the table is actually vibrating,
Yes,
and you can see the instruments moving and everything, and the glass vibrating. So
we put the K2 meter on to hopefully see the lights.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that was probably what we were a bit disappointed with. The lights didn't go off, but the K2 meter actually moved as we were. And your hand, your hand was just
it was shaking.
it was shaking.
So we've learnt a lot.
We've learnt a lot.
Overall, I think if the presences that are here are friendly,
Very friendly, yes.
it's a very warm house in respect of you don't feel any sort of threatening behaviour or anything like that. So it's absolutely been brilliant this evening.
Yes.
Really enjoyed
Very
it.
enjoyable.
So anyway, for now, this is Ray Cordell, Bev Kinsey. We're Haunted Hitchin. Back to the studio.